Good evening and welcome to PG&E's Wildfire Safety Webinar. Before we begin the presentation, please take a moment to make sure that you're safe and aware of your surroundings. I'd like to first start with a few housekeeping notes about how to use our web features. If you'd like to ask a question or provide any feedback for our team, please use the speech bubble icon. It's located at the top of your screen. Click Ask a Question and then type and submit your question. And you can submit questions at any time throughout the duration of our webinar this evening. We'll do our best to address all the questions that we receive after a brief presentation. The webcast is scheduled until 7:30 p.m. And so we will stay on to answer your questions, so please keep them coming. If we're not able to get to your questions this evening, or if you're calling in through a phone line, you can reach out to us anytime. We have a dedicated email address, wildfiresafety@pge.com, and we manage that inbox Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, so we will respond to your inquiry quickly. We'll be recording this evening's presentation, and the recording and slides are going to be available at our website. That's pge.com/fire safety webinars, along with past presentations for sharing. So I'd like to first thank everyone for taking the time to be with us here this evening to discuss our wildfire prevention efforts and the improvements that we're making in 2021. My name is Vanessa Bryan, and I'm the Senior Manager of PG&E's Public Safety Power Shutoff Customer Engagement and Strategy team. I'll be facilitating the webinar this evening from my home here in Placer County. Also presenting during this evening's webinar are Dan Blair, who's our Local Government Relations Representative, Nick Matheson, Vegetation Program Manager, David Hawks, Public Safety Specialist, and Carl Schoenhofer, the Senior Manager for the Humboldt and North Valley Divisions. Additional subject matter experts have joined us for the Q&A portion of this evening's webinar. That's Ayla Tucker, our Local Government Relations Representative, and Jeff Lee, our Public Safety Specialist. And I believe that we have Felix as well on the line, who's a Public Safety Specialist with us this evening. So we're definitely here to answer your questions. The topics that we're going to discuss this evening are how we're making our system safer and more resilient, local wildfire prevention work in your community, our efforts to improve public safety power shutoff events for our customers and our communities, and resources that we have available to help you, our customers, prepare for and stay safe during emergencies and outages. Again, feel free to submit questions or just share your thoughts with our team at any time. And at this point, I'd like to hand things over to Dan Blair. Dan?
Thank you, Vanessa, and good evening. My name is Dan Blair. I'm the Local Government Relations Representative here at my home office in Chico. Tonight, I'll share how we're working to prevent wildfires through our Community Wildfire Safety Program. At PG&E, our most important responsibility is the safety of our customers and communities. California continues to experience an increase in wildfire risk and a longer wildfire season. On this slide, we're sharing one of the tools that we use when assessing wildfire risk in our community, the Fire Threat Map of California. This map was developed by the California Public Utilities Commission in coordination with CAL FIRE and the U.S. Forest Service, and is based on input from electric utilities, communication infrastructure providers, and local public safety agencies. It helps us plan for potential wildfires and focus our prevention efforts. Nearly 1/3 of the electric lines that provide our customers with power are now in high fire threat areas. You can find this map by visiting cpuc.ca.gov/fire threat maps. We're also continuing to evolve our Community Wildfire Safety Program, or CWSP, in order to strengthen and improve our electric system for the safety of our customers and communities. The Community Wildfire Safety Program launched in 2018 to help keep customers safe and communities safe in the face of the growing wildfire risk around our state. Focused areas of this program include supporting customers and communities before, during, and after public safety power shutoff events by providing more resources and working year-round and nonstop to improve our PSPS program. We're also focused on listening to our customers, learning from better data and technology, and providing more resources than ever before for these events. We're also meeting and exceeding state vegetation safety standards with our enhanced vegetation management program, to manage trees and other vegetation located near power lines that could cause a wildfire or power outage. We're also continuing to build a safer and more resilient system by hardening lines and installing sectionalizing devices that help to reduce the size of PSPS events. Also, we're testing and using new tools and technologies to pinpoint how to best prevent and respond to the risk of wildfires. And also, we're utilizing new risk modeling to better prioritize our wildfire safety efforts and target preventative efforts in the areas and communities at the highest risk. Our wildfire safety program is evolving and improving each year to reflect and incorporate lessons learned. On this slide and the next, we're providing an update on our wildfire safety efforts and plans for 2021 in your communities. These include system hardening, targeting underground and improving the system to strengthen our poles and our lines. Also enhancing vegetation management work to address vegetation located near power lines that pose a higher potential for wildfire risk. We're also installing high definition cameras to give us the ability to see more of the high fire risk areas we serve. And we're expanding our network of weather stations to increase our weather forecasting capabilities. We're also installing devices that limit the size of outages by separating our electric grid into smaller sections. In addition to these wildfire prevention efforts, during public safety power shutoffs, we open community resource centers where community members can access resources. Quarterly updates of our wildfire safety efforts in your community can be found at pge.com/wildfiresafety. Also, as part of our ongoing efforts to prevent wildfires, we're strengthening the electric system with stronger poles, covered power lines, and targeted undergrounding to further reduce wildfire risks and better withstand severe weather. These efforts are collectively known as system hardening. This work will occur over several years across thousands of miles in the highest fire threat areas, and will help reduce the risk of wildfire, enhance the long-term safety of our system, especially during times of high fire threat, significantly improve reliability during winter weather, and in some cases, help to minimize public safety power shutoff event impacts. This year, we plan to conduct system hardening on 180 distribution circuit miles in the highest fire threat areas across our service territory. On this slide, you can see the areas in your community that have received system hardening and the areas planned for this work. We're also installing sectionalizing devices to narrow the scope of public safety power shutoff events and limit the number of customers without power. These sectionalizing devices separate the electric grid into smaller parts, allowing us to de-energize targeted areas during severe weather and wildfire conditions. We're also adding remote and automated capabilities to many of the sectionalizing devices, which just gives us a greater ability to keep areas energized during events. The maps provided on these two slides show the locations of current and planned sectionalizing devices in your communities. To visually monitor our service territory in real time, we're continuing to install new high-definition cameras across the regions our infrastructure serves. Our Wildfire Safety Operations Center staff use these cameras to monitor and respond to wildfires. We also allow CAL FIRE, as well as local, state, and federal agencies to individually control the cameras as needed. On this slide, we're sharing the number and approximate locations of high-definition cameras in Lassen and Plumas counties. The green squares are PG&E owned high-definition cameras, and the purple squares are high-definition cameras which are not owned by PG&E, but we have the ability to still view that feed. This year, we are installing 135 high-definition cameras in high fire threat areas as we build towards our goal of 600 by the year 2022. When we reach our 2022 goal, we'll have the ability to see more than 90% of the high fire risk areas that we serve. Here we've provided the number of cameras and their approximate locations in Sierra and Tehama counties. You can see recent images from the cameras at the website alertwildfire.org or pge.com/weather. To further improve our weather forecasting capabilities, we're continuing to build our network of weather stations to to better predict and respond to severe weather threats. On this slide, you can see the weather stations and approximate locations in Lassen and Plumas counties. The blue dots are PG&E owned weather stations, and the yellow dots are remote automated weather stations, or RAWs, which are not part of our weather station network, but we do have access to the data that they collect. This year, we're adding 300 new weather stations to complete our long-term goal of 1,300 total, or one station for about every 20 line miles in high fire threat areas. Here, we've provided the number of weather stations in Sierra and Tehama counties and their approximate locations. You can see the outputs of these weather stations online at mesowest.utah.edu, or again, pge.com/weather. This year, we're testing and using new tools and technologies, including rapid earth fault current limiter technology to prevent sparks when a line is damaged, technology that uses cameras to also quickly detect objects approaching a power line and shut off power before impact. We're also using ground-based LiDAR, which stands for light detection and ranging, to more rapidly identify where vegetation work is needed and to verify our work. And we're also using satellite monitoring to detect potential wildfires, allowing faster response and awareness. With that, I will hand the presentation over to Nick Matheson to talk about our vegetation management work in your community.
Thank you, Dan. Good afternoon. My name is Nick Matheson, Vegetation Program Manager here in my home in Chico, California. To protect the public safety, we're working with customers and communities to manage trees and other vegetation located near power lines that could cause a wildfire or a power outage. Through our routine vegetation management program, we inspect approximately 100,000 miles of overhead power lines across our service territory every year. This includes inspecting some locations multiple times a year. We prune or remove more than 1 million trees annually to maintain clearances from power lines, and we remove dead, diseased, dying, or defective trees, which are primarily in areas affected by drought and/or bark beetles. In addition to our routine vegetation management work, our enhanced vegetation management program addresses vegetation that poses higher potential for wildfire risk in high fire threat areas, which we will dive into a little bit on the next slide. We have completed 2 line miles in Plumas County and 249 line miles in Tehama County of enhanced vegetation management work from the beginning of the program in 2009 through March of this year. The enhanced vegetation management in your community, as mentioned on the previous slide, we are maximizing the safety of our customers and communities through our enhanced vegetation management program, which exceeds state standards for minimum clearances around power lines, including pruning overhangs, limbs, and branches above the power lines, includes additional inspections beyond routine patrols to cut down dead, diseased, or dying and/or defective trees that could harm the power lines or equipment, and evaluates the condition of trees that may need to be addressed if they are tall enough to strike the lines or the facilities. On this slide, you can see the areas where we plan to perform enhanced vegetation management work in the Sierra and Tehama counties this year. Additional improvements to our vegetation management efforts this year include updating our methods for verifying vegetation work and inspections, using LiDAR technology, and creating a centralized team of arborists to identify and address the issues in real time. With that, I'll now hand over the presentation to David Hawks.
Good evening. My name is David Hawks, and I'm a public safety specialist with Pacific Gas and Electric, serving Butte and Plumas County. I'm broadcasting this evening from my home office in Butte County. At this point, I would like to provide an overview of our Public Safety Power Shutoff Program, or PSPS, and the improvements that we are making in 2021. For the safety of our customers and communities, public safety power shutoffs continue to be a necessary tool as a last resort. High winds can cause tree branches and debris to contact energized electric lines and damage our equipment, as well as cause fires. As a result, we may need to turn off the power during severe weather conditions for public safety. And I want to emphasize that these events are always weather driven and are only called on when extreme weather and wildfire risk are present. Because electricity can travel several miles from the generation source to get to your home, or business, you may be affected by public safety power shutoff events, even if the electrical infrastructure that serves you even if the electric infrastructure that serves you is affected by high winds or severe weather, even if you are miles away from your location. When deciding if power must be shut off for the safety of our customers and the communities that we serve, we review a combination of factors. As you can see in this slide, we look at low humidity levels, which are generally 30% or below. We look at forecast winds, particularly sustained winds above 20 miles per hour, as well as wind gusts in the 30 to 40 mile range per hour. We also look at the dry vegetation and the ground and moisture content in the forest fuels, and vegetation that may also come in contact with power lines. Other considerations include when there are red flag warnings that have been declared by the National Weather Service, and also we monitor real-time ground observations of the weather through our Wildfire Safety Operations Center and from crews working across our service territory. This year, our decision-making process is evolving to also account for the presence of tall trees, enough to strike power lines when determining if a PSPS event is necessary. Every wildfire season is different, and the ongoing drought and conditions and our commitment to safety will determine the number of times that we will need to shut off power. This is a set criteria as a first step for which led to further analysis from our meteorology team to determine if a public safety power shutoff is necessary. In this next slide, we'll look at tree overstrike exposure and public safety power shutoff decision making. The safety of our customers, again, and communities is the most important responsibility that we have. Each year, we have made improvements to the public safety power shutoff program for safety. The same is true this year. As we mentioned on the previous slide, this year we are incorporating additional criteria for the public safety power shutoff program. To help prevent major wildfires, the federal court has issued an order recommending that PG&E account for areas where there are large numbers of trees that are tall enough to strike power lines when deciding whether to turn off power for public safety. We plan on moving forward with this recommendation for the safety of our customers and the communities that we serve. After each, in this slide, identifying potential impacts for updated criteria, after each public safety power shutoff event, we review the weather conditions and associated damages experienced to our system and incorporate lessons learned to continue to evolve our public safety power shutoff program. Due to the recent upgrades, we do not expect a return to the large-scale public safety power shutoff events of 2019. Compared to last year, under similar weather conditions, the customers live in areas of the highest wildfire risk may experience more frequent public safety power shutoff events this year. We will continue to work to improve our system and to reduce the public safety power shutoff impacts, and we are hyper-focused on helping our customers and our communities in high fire threat areas. In this slide, I want to point out how you will be notified during a public safety power shutoff. We will always do our best to share what we know about the weather and our equipment as soon as we can, keeping in mind that weather conditions can be uncertain and changing. You can expect to receive notifications 2 days, 48 hours before shutting off the power when we are in watch mode for a public safety power shutoff. And then again, you'll receive a notification 1 day before turning off power, still in that watch mode. And then finally, we'll notify you just before we de-energize the power lines. And at that point, we've entered a warning mode. During the public safety power shutoff event, during the course when power is off, we will send notifications once per day, and we will notify customers on the final time when power is restored. We will provide updates to our customers throughout automated calls, through text messages and emails, and we encourage you to review your contact information that we have on file for you by visiting pge.com/mywildfirealerts. This year, we have launched our address alerts. Those who are not a PG&E account holder can also receive public safety power shutoff notifications for any address. With that, I will hand the presentation over to Carl Schonifer.
Thank you, David. I'm Carl Schonifer, the Senior Manager for PG&E's Humboldt and North Valley divisions, and I'm joining this webinar this evening from my home in Humboldt County. So tonight I will be sharing resources we've made available for our customers and the communities we serve to help customers prepare for and stay safe during public safety power shutoffs. And we are listening to our customers, and we're working to make immediate improvements, which includes enhancing our notifications, providing batteries and generator rebates, and bolstering resources for customers. On this slide, we are sharing more details about the customer support we provided in 2020, along with our plans to enhance these programs in 2021. And these include improving customer notifications, partnering with our community-based organizations, including local food banks and Meals on Wheels to provide food replacement, and providing portable batteries to eligible customers that rely on medical devices, opening additional community resource centers, and offering rebates for customers who rely on well water. During a PSPS event, we open community resource centers, or CRCs, where community members can access resources, including a safe location to meet their basic power needs, such as charging medical equipment and electronic devices, up-to-date information on the PSPS event, and water, snacks, and other essential items to reduce hardships on our customers. We aim to open CRC locations as soon as possible after the start of a PSPS event that's forecasted to last longer than 24 hours. Customers can learn more about community resource centers and find a location in an area before and during PSPS events at pge.com/CRC. We're working with the Disability Disaster Action and Resource Program in partnership with the California Foundation for Independent Living Centers to provide support before and during PSPS events. During the events in 2020, this program engaged with approximately 1,700 customers and provided the resources that can be seen on this slide. To learn more about the DDAR program, please visit disabilitydisasteraccess.org. So our portable battery program provides no-cost backup batteries to those in the aging and disabled populations who rely on power for medical or independent living needs and low-income customers in high fire threat areas. This year, we're providing 5,000 more batteries, which is in addition to the 6,500 batteries that we provided last year. Customers can learn more about our portable battery program by visiting pgebatteryprogram.com. But please note, this program will reopen later in 2021 prior to the beginning of the peak public safety power shutoff season. Backup electric power can be a part of any preparedness plan. If you're interested in acquiring a backup power system, we have a backup power generator rebate program to help you finance your purchase. You qualify for the backup power generator rebate if you are a PG&E customer who lives in a tier 2 or tier 3 high fire threat area and you rely on well water pumping for your water needs. And through this program, we are offering a $300 rebate for all eligible customers or a $500 rebate for eligible customers who are participating in our CARE or FARA rate programs. You can learn more about our generator rebate program at pge.com/backup power. The safety of our customers and communities is our most important responsibility. That's why we've created a PG&E Report It, our new safety reporting mobile app, which we'll be testing this summer. With this new app, anyone can report safety concerns directly to us. Users simply describe the location of their safety concern, take a picture or a video, and then just submit the report. We will notify you when the concern is being reviewed and when it's been resolved. The initial phase of the pilot will be available to select customers who live in high fire threat areas. During this time, we will test and make improvements to the app. If you're interested in being part of this pilot, please visit pge.com/safety app. As the COVID-19 pandemic continues to impact our communities, we understand the increasing struggles facing our customers. We're committed to helping our customers by providing financial assistance programs, tools, and tips to save energy. Emergency protections our offering during the pandemic include suspending service disconnects for non-payments, pausing on post-enrollment verification and re-enrollment requirements for the CARE and FARA rate programs, waiving security deposits for small commercial customers, and allowing medical baseline customers to self-certify their eligibility. And for more information about our assistance programs, energy efficiency program updates, and easy to use resources to help manage your energy usage and bills, visit pge.com/COVID-19. I know that we've shared a lot of information with you tonight in a short amount of time. We have prepared this slide and we'll leave it on the screen through the question and answer portion to show some of the many resources we have available to support our customers and make outages and emergencies easier. The most important website to remember is at the top, pge.com/wildfire safety. On that website, you will find links to all the resources that are referenced here. And at this time, I'd like to hand the presentation back over to Vanessa.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Carl, and thanks everyone for your contributions to tonight's webinar. We're going to transition to our Q&A portion now. So I'd like to again mention that the webinar is being recorded. It will be posted on pge.com/fire safety webinars. That usually takes about a week. We'll have both the slide deck that you viewed tonight as well as a recording, including the Q&A session and a transcript as well. So that'll be up in about a week. If you'd like to see past webinars, you can go there now. We've been receiving some great comments and questions, but I'd like to remind folks how to ask a question. There's a speech bubble icon at the top of your screen. A button that says ask a question will then appear at the bottom of your screen. So you'll click on that and then type in your question or comment. If you've been waiting till the end of the presentation, now's the time. We're going to do our best to answer all the questions we received. And with that, I think let's jump right in. So first, I want to thank folks for comments. We received a comment about the cameras and the weather app. One of our customers, John, thank you for your comment, who finds them very, very useful. So if that isn't a glowing recommendation to check them out, you know, I don't know what is. So so please take a look at our wildfire cameras and our weather stations. You can view all of that data. It is public. We had another question or comment, excuse me, about our address level alerts. And so Carl talked about this. It's up here on the screen now. I really want to reiterate that for friends, family, loved ones, your work location, you know, maybe your child's school or a vacation home, if you are not the customer of record, you can still get a direct notification. This is brand new. Last year we had zip code alerts. They were very broad. This year we have refined that to be address level, and you can get that via phone or text, but you need to sign up for each individual address. Anyone, again, can sign up and get that. And if you go to pge.com/address alerts, you can do that right now. They're also available in 16 languages. So they're accessible. And we'd encourage you to sign up. There was a question about if folks can get information about the CRC that's near the area in that alert. Certainly we're limited in the amount of information we can send in a text message, but you will be directed to pge.com/PSPS updates. Now that's the site where you can get all of the pertinent information during an event. And so even if you just go to pge.com during a PSPS event when we have notified customers or if power is shut off, you will see the most relevant resources, including a list of community resource centers where you can go and charge devices. You can get water, light snacks, information. Oftentimes our independent living centers will partner with community resource centers. So if you have additional needs, they can help you out. So again, great suggestion. Thank you for that. And thank you for your comment. I'll add that for the most part, the improvements that we've made over the last few years to minimize the hardships that we know these events cause on our customers have really come from customer recommendations. So even if you don't have a question, you'd like to share your feedback or you have an idea, please type it in and we'll make sure that the right folks receive that. So I'd like to again remind customers, if you'd like to ask a question, there is that speech bubble icon at the top. In the meantime, I'm going to call on our presenters. We had just a couple of comments. We don't have any specific questions right now. So I'd love to hear from you about one key thing that you think that our customers should take away from the presentation this evening. So Carl, I'm going to come to you first. What's one thing that you'd like to make sure that our customers do?
Yeah, thanks, Vanessa. One thing I think is really important to keep in mind as you prepare. I myself actually live in an area where I don't have city or county established water or sewer system, so I'm on a well. And so make sure you do two things. Make sure that if you have a backup generator for that well, that it's hooked up safely and you have a qualified electrical worker do that with an appropriate transfer switch. And then if you're in a high fire threat area, as we mentioned earlier, in tier 2 or tier 3, make sure you apply for that rebate. $300 for eligible customers and $500 for those that are on the CARE and FARA program. So that's a good opportunity to make sure that you have water during an event.
Absolutely. Thank you for that, Carl. Appreciate your feedback there. Nick, I'm actually going to ask you a question that we often receive. We didn't receive it tonight, but we often do receive from customers. If they see any trees near our lines or they're concerned about a tree on their property, what's the best way for a customer to go about getting our attention and having us come out and take a look?
They can reach out to 1-800-PGE-5000 and make that contact there. And then depending on the nature of what they've seen in the field, that will get directed to either the electric side of the house with Troubleman, or it could come directly to someone like myself, a vegetation program manager, and we can get inspectors and arborists out there to take a look and explain what's going on there and what we can and can't do, but address mitigate any hazards that are identified through that visit. So yes, I would encourage all folks, if you see something that looks concerning, please reach out and let us know. We're here to address those.
Wonderful, Nick. And anything else that you'd like our customers to take away from the presentation this evening?
Yeah, the biggest thing is that you can expect to see us on a routine to continue our safety journey, if you will. We're currently prioritizing the areas that are in the highest wildfire risk, and enhanced vegetation management is continuing to expand. So you will see our routine inspectors and tree crews, but also in the areas of high fire threat, you'll see the enhanced vegetation management mitigations as well.
Wonderful. Thanks for that reminder, Nick. I know oftentimes we hear from customers that a lot of folks come onto their property. And so just reassurance that every time a PG&E employee or contractor is coming onto your property, it is to make sure that your property is safe and that we're maintaining our facilities accordingly. So thank you for your cooperation related to that. We really do appreciate it. We know that it can be an inconvenience. So we appreciate your partnership there. Yeah. All right, I'm going to move to David next. David, what's one thing that you would like our customers to take away from the presentation this evening?
Well, I think what I'd like the customers to take away is that PG&E realizes that the public safety power shutoffs are impactful, and we do everything that we can with the emphasis on making sure that we are safely serving our customers and their communities. We analyze the weather and we look at that, realizing that each year weather changes from year to year. And this year we're experiencing a tremendous drought now on 2 years going on. and that it not only changes from year to year, it changes from day to day, and consequently those forest fuels change. And so the timing of when those fuels will be in a dry enough state and when those weather conditions will be such that we have to evaluate it really closely to ensure that we turn off power only as a last resort, but we do so with the focus on safety.
Thank you for that reminder, David. Really important. And certainly we recognize that it is a hardship on customers. And so encourage folks to visit our website. We are consistently reaching out to new community-based organizations that might be able to provide resources in your area. If you experience food loss during events, you can go to local food banks and get replacement there. And we're approaching new organizations every day to see if they might have a resource that we can support in support of our customers. So thank you for that. All right, Dan, I'm coming your way next. I'd love to hear from you one takeaway that you'd like our customers to remember this evening.
Great. Yeah, thanks, Vanessa. I think the one thing I'd say is take note on this slide here, the email and the phone number. Please provide your feedback, reach out to us. So many of the resources that we're providing are based on lessons learned from feedback from community members who saw ways we could improve, who saw challenges that we weren't aware of. And that feedback is crucial for us to really improve every year and really mitigate as many of the impacts of PSPS that we can. So I encourage you to save that outreach information and please provide that feedback.
Wonderful. Thank you for that, Dan, and great reminder. All right, Carl, I have a question for you. We have a question from one of our customers about if there is food loss, if PG&E will reimburse the customers for the cost of the food that was lost in freezers or refrigerators. Can you comment to our customers on that?
Yeah, I might share this one with you, Vanessa, in that typically we do not reimburse costs for food loss in events like public safety power shutoffs. However, we do offer a meal and plate replacement program through our partnerships with the local food banks. And you might have a little bit more information on that than me.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a list of food banks on our website. Thanks for that, Carl. pge.com/disability and aging. And we are constantly adding to that. Our goal is to have a food replacement option in any county that could be impacted by public safety power shutoff. So we do have the food banks. We also have Meals on Wheels. So for our senior community who's already receiving Meals on Wheels benefits during a PSPS, they're actually going to deliver a second meal, which is typically shelf-stable food and not frozen or anything like that. So certainly there are options to get food replaced if that occurs. We don't have a direct reimbursement option because we are shutting off the power for safety, and that is, the primary focus there. If there were to be an extenuating circumstance around an outage, that is really the time when it is appropriate to file a claim. But related to PSPS, generally, we are not paying out claims on losses. So thank you for the question. I appreciate it. So I'll remind folks one last time about how to ask a question, and that is up at the top right of your screen. There's two kind of speech bubbles. There's a question mark in them. You click on it. You'll see a button that says ask a question that'll appear at the bottom of your screen. Click on that, type in your question or comment, and we'll be happy to respond to those. If you can't think of a question now, but one comes up later this evening, you can email us at wildfiresafety@pge.com and we will promptly respond. So folks will get those first thing in the morning and promptly respond to you. But that is an email address that you can use anytime that you might have questions. All right. So we do want to encourage folks to have a plan, particularly if you are reliant on power for any medical or independent living needs. Carl talked about our partnership with the California Foundation for Independent Living Centers. That really is the type of thing where you need to reach out to them tomorrow. Call them tomorrow, talk about your emergency plan, and then they will help determine what the right resource is for you. Certainly they can assist in an event, but if they already have your plan ready, we can execute on it. They can execute on it that much more quickly, or even, if a portable backup battery is the right solution for you, have that in hand before the power actually goes out. So again, if you rely on power for a medical device or assistive technology related to medical or independent living needs, they are the folks to go to. You can get all the information on our website. Carl also shared disabilitydisasteraccess.org, which is directly linked to them. And there is an independent living center serving these communities. So please, I encourage you, if you do nothing else, you've done the first thing, which is find out more information about what you can expect and what we're doing to help our customers. And the second thing is update your contact information and put together your own personal emergency plan about how you will respond to a public safety power shutoff, or frankly, any emergency or power outage. All right, well, it does not appear that we're getting any more questions this evening, but we certainly appreciate you taking the time to participate in our regional wildfire safety webinar. I think it's obvious. I've said it once, I'll say it again. We really do want your feedback and your input. Dan said it as well. We will continue to enhance our programs, expand our wildfire safety efforts, and we want to hear from you as well. So you can call us at 866-743-6589. That's our PSPS Pacific hotline into our call center. And then you can also email us at wildfiresafety@pge.com. Visit our website, pge.com/fire safety webinars. We are continuing to update the website to get better information to you faster during events. So visit it often and you will see updates and changes. And you can also view a copy of the presentation and the recording there in about a week. So thank you again for your time this evening. Please have a safe evening and stay well.